Good day everyone, I'm Minashni here. Today I'd like to introduce Malaysia Airlines or MAS, the national flag carrier of Malaysia and one of the most iconic names in our aviation history. MAS began its journey back in 1947 as Malayan Airways. Over the decades, it evolved alongside the nation, and by the 1980s, during Malaysia's economic boom, the airline experienced rapid growth. In fact, by the end of the decade, MAS became the first Southeast Asia airlines to fly intercontinental routes to South America, marking a major milestone in regional aviation. But MAS's story hasn't been without challenges. The airline has gone through major transformation, from financial struggles to tragic events like MH370 and MH17 incidents in 2014, which deeply impacted its global reputations. Since then, MAS has undergone a massive restructuring, now operating under Khazanah National with renewed focus on digital transformation, customer service and competitive positioning in a tough global market. So MAS is not just an airline, it's a symbol of Malaysia's resilience and ambition, and understanding its journey helps us explore the broader challenges faced by legacy carriers in today's fast-changing aviation landscape. With that, I'll now pass it over to my team.
Thank you, Minashini. Hi, I'm Shanas, and I'll talk to you about the key challenges or pain points with regards to the case study. Undoubtedly, MAS had experienced quite a few turbulent periods throughout its operations. The challenges can be classified into financial turmoil, organizational disruptions, operational challenges, and reputational conflicts. MAS had been experiencing repeated financial losses over 2 decades. The loss was so extensive that the sovereign wealth fund Khazanah had to step in and act as an investor. Over time, MAS's financial health remained detrimental, and consequently, this impacted Khazanah, which suffered its first loss since 2005. From the organizational lens, MAS had to undertake a drastic major downsizing in 2015 by laying off 30% of its workforce, approximately 6,000 staff members. There were also numerous restructuring exercises which failed, and MAS had had 6 different CEOs within 12 years, whereby only 3 were able to make a positive financial impact on the airline. Operations-wise, MAS took a step to reduce its routes and focus on regional destinations, but this caused a significant customer loss. Apart from that, MAS also faced industrial rivalry, especially with the low-cost carriers like AirAsia and Lion Air in terms of pricing. At one point, due to the rapid fleet growth, MAS had more aircraft on order than those in operations, and this caused an issue in infrastructure. MAS peaked as the nation's airline in 1980s, and it was challenging to maintain this legacy. After the twin scandalous flights MH370 and MH17, the airline's reputation was grossly affected worldwide. In fact, there was a suggestion to rebrand the airline, but this was opposed by Khazanah due to nationalistic sentiments, as the airline carried the country's name. That's all from me, and for the next segment, I pass the presentation to Esmond. Thank you.
Thanks, Shanas. To address the challenges facing Malaysia Airlines, a strategic leadership approach is essential. First, leaders must set a clear strategic direction. MAS should refocus on profitable core markets such as the Asia Pacific and adopt realistic financial targets, moving away from the over-ambitious goals that have hindered past efforts. Second, it is crucial to establish balanced organizational controls. This involves improving performance monitoring, ensuring transparent governance, and minimizing external interference that disrupts strategic execution. Third, effective leaders optimize the organization's resource portfolio. In MAS case, this includes deploying aircraft more efficiently, transitioning to cost-effective models, and aligning workforce size with operational needs. Fourth, sustaining a strong organizational culture is vital. Rebuilding internal morale and trust, especially after high-profile crises and leadership turnover, requires a renewed focus on safety, service excellence, and shared values. Finally, leaders must prioritize ethical practices, Transparent engagement with stakeholders and responsible use of public resources are critical for restoring public trust and long-term credibility. These actions are supported by three essential leadership traits: vision, dedication, and a commitment to excellence, all vital for guiding Malaysia Airlines through a successful turnaround. I'll now hand over to Paki, who will discuss from a strategic agility perspective.
Thank you, Esmond, on the strategic leadership model. My name is Park Yi. Now I will continue by looking from strategic agility perspective, what capabilities or processes Malaysia Airlines MAS needs to have to become more flexible and respond quickly to changes. First, MAS must be able to spot changes in the environment early and act before problems get worse. In the past, MAS did not respond well to big challenges like MH370 and MH17 tragedies, the rise of the low-cost airlines like AirAsia, and the COVID-19 pandemic. This shows that MAS did not have a strong system to track customer behavior, market trends, and potential risks. To fix this, MAS should build a real-time data system that helps them understand what is happening inside and outside the company. For example, they should be able to know what passengers want, how competitors are behaving, and what new rules or risks are coming. With this information, MAS can act faster and make better decisions. Second, MAS needs to become more flexible in its operations and structures. In 2019, they tried to improve by cutting long, unprofitable routes and reducing staff. But the airline still has problems like too many employees and a fleet that isn't easy to adjust. What MAS should do is move forward a more flexible setup where they can increase or reduce flights, staff, and costs based on demand. They also need to update their contracts and staff agreements to allow for more changes when needed. This will help the airline survive during tough times without losing too much money. Next, leadership is also a big issue. Between 2015 and 2019, Mars had four different CEOs. Because of this, there was no steady directions, and each new leader had different ideas. This slowed down progress. To improve, Mars should have strong leadership teams that can make fast decisions without always needing approval from higher authorities or even the governments. They also need a clear plan for leadership changes so the company stays on track even if someone new takes over. Finally, must need to work on having a flexible and a skilled workforce. In the past, layoffs were done suddenly and without planning. Moving forward, MAS should help employees learn new skills and move to different roles across the company. They also need to work better with unions to make sure both the company and the staff are protected. Now, I'll hand it over to Lisa, who will talk about how design thinking can also help Mars to improve its customer satisfaction. Over to you, Lisa.
So, design thinking refers to how humans solve a problem using creativity, empathy, and iteration. Fundamentally, it's about understanding people's needs and addressing it with innovation, solutions that are both practical and also meaningful. The process typically involves five key principles, which are empathizing user and the experience through observation, engagement, and listening, defined by clearly articulating users' problem based on insights gathered in the prior phase, ideate by brainstorming a wide range of creative solutions, prototype by constructing a simple, tangible version of the ideas to explore how they might work in the world, and finally, test by trying out the prototype with users, gather feedback, and refine based on what is lacking. So, through the lenses of consumer journey mapping, pain points that may be holding back customers' experience typically involves their whole experience from before boarding their flight until the arrival of their destination. So how can MAS provide better customers experience by design thinking? We have broken this up into three phases. The first phase involves the pre-booking or research, booking, payment, and also the pre-flight communication. The second phase, which involves the customer's airport and boarding experience and also in-flight experience. And the third phase will be the post-flight and feedback. Elaborating more on the first phase, when customer is pre-booking and researching on the website, user may experience confusing website navigation and also detailing such as outdated flight information, limited pricing transparency, and also combined with the lack of customers' trust after their 2014 mishaps. Through this pinpoint, Musk could apply design thinking to enhance customers' experience by probably streamlining digital interfaces with user-centric design, introducing transparent dynamic pricing and value bundle offers, or perhaps showcasing upgraded and safety updates through modern fleet to restore customers' confidence. Then during the booking and payment, customers sometimes come across complicated booking process, especially for international routes where there's inflexible for cancellation and also change policies, and also the vague baggage allowance and chargeable fees. So through this standpoint, Musk could apply design thinking to streamline the complexity by simplifying steps with guided booking wizards, offer flexible travel insurance with refundable options, and maybe alter the visual queue systems that clarify baggage policies instantly. As customer awaits their flight stay, sometimes flight changes occurs and some customer fails to get update on their gate changes and also delays. So the inconsistent updates create inconvenience for travelers, especially for those who have connecting flights and also maybe other arrangement. Sometimes even the email or the app notifications are delayed. Subsequently, non-frequent flyers and special need passengers are often guided poorly, as special attentions are or maybe priority are only given to frequent flyers. So through this standpoint, Musk could leverage on design thinking to personalize communication across channels such as their app, SMS, or email, launch proactive disruption handling with rebooking suggestions, and probably introducing travelers ads to assist non-frequent flyers and special passenger needs online and also offline. Elaborating more on the second phase, so when passengers are at the airport, daunting experience such as long check-in line without guidance, inconsistent launch access policies, and confusions around boarding procedures may create miscommunications among customers and the airline management. So through this standpoint, Musk could adopt design thinking to smoothen customers' experience by providing live waiting time tracking and wayfinding tools, provide digital launch passes integrated into app, and probably redesign boarding signage for flow and also clarity. In-flight experience also plays a crucial role to passengers in consistency service across different aircraft type dampens expectation and also confidence among customers in the long run. Moreover, limited flight entertainment or food variety and ambiguous seat selection process also affects customers' satisfaction. So through this standpoint, Musk could leverage on design thinking to standardize service levels and training across routes, allow pre-selections of meals and entertainment, preview via app, and possibly integrate loyal-driven seat upgrade features that may increase the customer satisfaction. And finally, elaborating more on the third phase, during arrival, passengers may experience slow baggage retrieval, especially at busy hubs. So there's also lack of complaints platform available for quick response and resolutions. Furthermore, the lack of personalization in follow-up communication poses as a challenge to customers with issues trying to reach out to the management. So Musk could address this pain point by design thinking practical solutions such as providing instant feedback loops via mobile apps, or maybe adopt AI-driven customers triaging for complaints, or initiating a reward surprise moment for their loyal passengers.
Hello everyone, and thank you Lisa for presenting on mass design thinking. Allow me to walk you through on the combined conclusion for the case study of Malaysia Airlines or MAS, which focuses on both its historical challenges and current turnaround progress. To provide everyone with some background and challenges, for more than a decade, Mars has struggled with financial losses, governmental interference, repeated restructuring, legacy costs, and operational inefficiency. However, in recent years, the airline has entered a new phase, and some of Mars' turnaround strategy has focused on its operational efficiency, enhanced customer experience, coupled with strategic and agile leadership, and combined with diversifying revenue mainstream, such as cargo and maintenance activities. This shift has already delivered results, including an operating profit of approximately 556 million in 2022 and the first net profit since being privatized in year 2023. Strategically, Mars is making strong moves with its revenue generating majorly from international markets while positioning itself to commit in crisis planning, along with establishing and modernizing service upgrades to regain competitive advantage and premium positioning. In conclusion, Mars is showing clear and measurable signs of recovery, but its long-term success will depend on striking the right balance between being a symbol of national pride and operating with agility, innovation, and efficiency from competitive global aviation business model standpoint of view. Thank you.